today. Perhaps you're joining me either on Facebook or on YouTube. I tried to go on Clubhouse. It wasn't working for me, so I'm not over there. But anyway, wherever you're coming in from, be sure to share this on your page. Hit the like and subscribe button. Tag somebody. Just link them in. And I really wanted to speak into this topic, the whole concept of a deja vu. I think we've all experienced it. Maybe we've received different explanations for it. I've experienced it before, and I've wondered about it. And so I want to dive into that today and tackle a little bit of perhaps some dream language, because I think it's connected into that, but I will explain why. But first of all, I want to just chat with you about the Seers and Dreamers gathering in Sydney, Australia this February. I am so excited for this, and we're starting to hear some stuff in preparation for that. We had one gal, an intercessor, and she experienced a really powerful travail. Hopefully she'll be able to share some elements of that. But it was a travail in connection to this event, this area. And that's because God is birthing some very powerful things over there. And if you're in Australia, you're in New Zealand, you do not want to miss this. You want to be on the ground floor of this, okay? And the anointing does some transformative work, and things get launched. And it's going to be one of those events. So I want to invite you. And you say, well, I don't know if I can go. If the desire is in your heart, that's the Lord, because he puts the desires in our heart. And so what you need to do is just go book the ticket, trust the Lord for the rest of it to come in. We just had a gal from Europe, way far away. And she said the Lord told her to go. She said, I didn't have the funds, but she booked the ticket. And then she got some weird check from the government, just covered everything and over and above. It was really, really amazing what happened to her. And I've heard that thing over and over again in connection with my conferences and institutes, especially this last one. So many people got financial miracles, or the Lord instructed them to help somebody to get there. It was just absolutely nuts. And so I'm starting to see these little blades of miracles starting to kick in for this gathering. All right. So make sure you book now, make your plans now. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Don't delay. Do it now. And then the Australia New Zealand Prophetic Company, it restarts right after in March. So you want to also pick that up as well. And it is global, but it's concentrating over there, and there's a reason for that. So anyway, you can check all of that out at jennifereivaz.com. And the reason I push hard on the prophetic company is because if you're a seer, you're prophetically gifted, you're a prophet, you just don't do these things alone. We need to, by the time we're done with our life, we need to say that we have done what God told us to do. And part of that has to do with who we're with. We've got to be with the right people who actually, encourage us and equip and train us and are interested in us actually rising to our full potential. It's not a point of competition. I don't have to worry about stuff like that. It's just pure discipleship, community, and helping you launch. Okay. So get in the company, come to the gathering, and we'll see you soon. Now let's get to our topic. This whole thing about the deja vu. Have you ever had this experience? I'll bet you every single one of you has had this experience at least once. It's that feeling where you're doing something, or you're somewhere, or you enter into a company of people or somewhere. Okay. Something's happening. And you suddenly feel as if you've just walked into a memory, like you've been there before. I've done this before, but I haven't done this before. But it feels like I've done it before. What is happening right now? Okay, and so anyway, I was looking into this. I'm doing some writing, and I haven't really tackled this topic in depth. I think I've thrown out a couple posts, a couple ideas, but that's about it. And I want to look at this a little bit more. Because I'm book writing, so I'm doing a little bit more research on some of these topics. So I was looking at it, and I was like, okay, there's always some sort of secular psychologist explanation for these kind of terms, and we forget sometimes we're spiritual beings first. So when we leave that equation out, then we are left to these other explanations. So I'm going to read to you. This is a straight up Wikipedia, but it's hysterical. I'm going to read to you what Wikipedia says is the reason you are having this experience. Okay. So basically they start off with, it's a French loan word expressing the feeling that one has lived through the present situation before. It's an anomaly of memory whereby, despite the strong sense of recollection, the time, place, practical context of the previous experience are uncertain or believed to be impossible. Two types of deja vu are recognized. The pathological deja vu, usually associated with epilepsy, or that which, when unusually prolonged or frequent, or associated with other symptoms, such as hallucinations, may be an indicator of a neurological or psychiatric illness. And then the non-pathological type, characteristic of healthy people, about 2/3 of whom have had a deja vu experience, people who travel often, people who watch a lot of films. They're more likely to experience deja vu than others. Furthermore, people, they tend to experience deja vu more in fragile conditions or under high pressure. So basically they're saying if you're having these experiences, you're crazy. That's what they're saying. Okay. That's something psychologically wrong with you. Something's off. You're weak. That's what they're saying. Okay. And I would like to make the argument that there's nothing wrong with you if you're having these experiences. Okay. This is not what it is. All right. So what's happening here? Well, let's go back to Psalm 139, verse 16, one of my favorite verses. Okay, King David is writing all of Psalm 139 because he's finally getting this realization of his true identity, that he is fearfully and wonderfully made. God fashioned him in his mother's womb. That was so important for him because he, most scholars believe that he was born out of wedlock, that he was the result of an adulterous affair between his father and his mother, and that he was born under those conditions. And so, and part of his problem with sin was that, he had a massive identity issue. He basically repeated the family iniquity with Bathsheba, and the question that it really came to for him was, are you the son of Jesse or are you the son of God? And so he's in Psalm 139 writing out what his revelation is about himself. I am fearfully, wonderfully made, that my soul knows very well, and I rejoice in God over this. And he fashioned me in my mother's womb, and wherever I am, there he is, and he knows everything about me. Okay, so he's having this incredible revelation. Then he writes this thing, Psalm 139, 16, and he talks about how God wrote down in his book, every single day of his life before any of his days existed. So he's talking about this book, right? This book that God wrote. And so anyway, I've read that verse before. I really thought it was metaphorical, not literal for sure, until I had, I don't know if it was a vision trance. I don't know. I just know that this one day in particular, this angel took me up into heaven. And, I've been to heaven a few times, and each time was just completely life changing. This was one of those moments. And so this angel takes me up to heaven and he shows me this massive library of books. And these books are like ancient, okay, super old books, super ancient books, library full of them. I mean, as far as the eyes can see, just never ending. And he says, these are the books on the lives of the people on the earth. And I thought, wow, that's cool. And then a week later, I come across that verse in Psalm 139. And I'm like, suddenly I see it for what it is. It's like these are real books, not just a metaphorical thing. These are actual books that God wrote on your life, my life, every single day, his intention, his plans, before we ever got here. I always feel like I need to clarify when I talk about this, that we still have a free will. Not everybody realizes, God's intentions for their lives. We still have a choice. But it doesn't mean he didn't have a plan. Okay. He has a plan for your life. He says, I know the plans I have for you, plans for a future, plans for a hope, and he talks about that in Jeremiah 29:11. That was in the midst of the Israelites, entering into their Babylonian captivity, and they're pretty hopeless. He's like, no, I know the plans I have for you. Okay, so you might be pretty hopeless right now, but God is saying, I know the plans I have for you. All right, so back to this whole deja vu thing. If you study, the whole, like a lot of us, we think that we believe that our day starts at sunrise. Okay, that's the beginning of the day, and we kind of think that way, and we clarify our days that way. Well, my day started this, that, and the other, and we're talking about sunrise. My day started at 6 a.m. and I was doing this, that, and the other, and we're talking about sunrise. Well, in Jewish thought, Hebrew thought, that's not accurate. They actually believe the day starts at sunset. That's when the actual day starts. Okay, and there's a belief that God is actually, he's ordering your steps by ordering your dreams at night. And I know there are a lot of narratives and stories and symbols and metaphors. We don't know what they mean, but God's in a lot of that. And that he's depositing his plans, his higher ways, his higher thoughts for you, things that he has for you, things that come out of that book that he wrote on your life, that he's depositing these things in your dreams at night, that basically he is starting your day. And I'm talking about daylight. He's starting your waking day by starting it in your dreams at night. He actually starts it at night, which, is interesting. And so this whole thing where God is doing that, and he's making these deposits, and then you're just going about your day, and you step into something, and you have this deja vu, and you're like, I've been here before, but I don't remember it. Well, some people believe that you actually are remembering one of those God dreams that he put in you in the night, only you just don't have a recollection that you had the dream. And that really what's happening is you're stepping into an alignment with whatever God deposited into you, that Psalm 139, 16 book that he wrote about you, that in that moment, you've just aligned. And in that moment, you're in his perfect will, perfect place, perfect, plan in that second, in that moment. And so when you have a deja vu, you should rejoice. Okay. You're not psychologically off. You don't have some sort of fragility, weakness, psychosis, whatever. None of that. You simply stepped into the will of God, and we just thank God for that. And so rejoice in those moments, celebrate those moments when they happen. They don't happen often, but they happen enough to let us know we're on the right path. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. The whole thing about deja vu. What is it? What the heck is it? And just help you to reconcile that, okay? All right, everybody, thank you for joining me today. I do want to see you at the Seers and Dreamers Gathering. I look forward to seeing you at the Seers and Dreamers Gathering. So make sure that you register, and also join us now for next season of the Australia-New Zealand Prophetic Company. You can't do this alone. I need to be with people like you, all right? All right, thanks. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.